Hello everyone and welcome to another video here on the Cycling Dane Extra channel, and we are looking at another stage, this time stage 17 of this very delightful final week of the Giro d'Italia. If you haven't already, well, why not hit the like button and subscribe to the channel here on the Cycling Dane Extra, and comment down below what you think is going to happen on the stage as well before we get into it. Nevertheless, the stage is a 155 kilometer stage in the mountains, charting a course from the apple of the orchards of San Michele deep in the heart of the Alps, culminating in the renowned cycling haven of Bormio. While the mythical Passo del Mortirolo graces the parcours, its descent, coupled with the strategically placed late ascent of the Motte, promises to orchestrate a dramatic finale and potentially reshuffle the general classification once more. Nevertheless, the riders start from the starting point, San Michele Olaghi, sorry for the failed attempt at Italian, a town nestled amidst the vineyards and apple groves of the Tirreno Alto Adige region. From an elevation of approximately 220 meters, the riders will immediately encounter a prolonged false flat, a subtle but persistent incline that stretches for numerous kilometers before they get to the intermediate sprint, which comes 23.5 kilometers into the stage at an elevation of 658 meters. From there, the riders will have 31 kilometers until they get to the foot of the first categorized climb of the day, and this gradual uphill drag will serve as an early test of endurance, subtly taxing the riders' reserves after almost 3 weeks of racing before the more pronounced ascents begin to define the stage narrative. The first significant challenge arrives in the form of the Passo del Tonale, a 15.2 kilometer climb that averages a steady 6%, culminating at an elevation of 1,883 meters, and the hardest gradient is 9% for this climb. The profile reveals a relatively consistent ascent, demanding a sustained effort and offering the first real opportunity for climbers to gauge their rivals' form. The Passo del Tonale, a frequent feature in the Giro's mountainous tapestry, often acts as a crucial early indicator of climbing prowess in the high Alps, with the climb first being used back in 1933 on stage 7, where it was Alfredo Binder, of all people, who was the first rider to cross the climb, and the last time we saw it was on stage 17 in the 2017 edition, where it was none other than Pierre Rolland who was the first rider to crest the climb. Following the descent from the Tonale's windy slopes, the route guides the peloton towards the Ponte di Legno, a familiar outpost in the Giro lore, and then further into the Lombardy region towards Monon, the gateway to the legendary Passo del Mortirolo. While this particular stage tackles the Mortirolo from its less brutally steep side, the east side from Manon, it remains an ascent of formidable reputation, 12.6 kilometers in length with an average gradient of 7.6%, and the first 9 kilometers of the climb averages almost 8% before there's a short plateau at 2.5%, and then the climb kicks up once more in the last 2.6 kilometers at an average gradient of 9.6%. The Mortirolo, often shrouded in cycling lore, is a climb that transcends mere statistics. Its narrow, winding roads and relentlessly challenging gradients have witnessed countless moments of triumph and despair, solidifying its place as a true monument in the sport, and also known as the worst climb for Lance Armstrong. The echoes of past battles, including Alberto Contadore's fight back in 2015, where he was able to claw back his rivals with a display of climbing mastery, resonant even as the riders face its descent on the stage. The sheer effort required to conquer its slopes will undoubtedly have a lasting impact on the rider's legs. The technical descent from the Mortirolo summit at 1,785 meters plunges the riders down towards the Grosio in the Adda Valley, a rapid and demanding section that requires both courage and expert bike handling. The route then snakes upstream along the valley floor towards Bormio, a town synonymous with high altitude cycling and the majestic Stelvio Pass. However, the stage's climax involves a strategic detour to the Le Motte, a final categorized climb of 3.1 kilometers long with a sharp average gradient of 7.4%. This late ascent, coming after the tough efforts of the Tonale and the Mortirolo, presents a crucial launch pad for any final attack for a significant test for those struggling to maintain contact with the leading group. A thrilling 9-kilometer descent from the summit of Le Motte delivers the riders to the finish line in Bormio, a renowned ski resort that frequently welcomes the Giro d'Italia and often as a prelude to a conclusion of stages involving the iconic Stelvio, and we have of course seen Landa win here and Nibali in the past. While the Cima Coppi is absent from this particular stage, Bormio's rich history with the Giro, marked by dramatic finishes and unforgettable moments, sets this stage for yet a compelling chapter in the race's mountain narrative, and Bormio and this region will certainly have left its mark. Stage 17, by featuring the enduring legend of the Mortirolo even in the descent and the decisive late climb of Le Motte, promises to be a captivating and potentially devastating day in terms of the Maglia Rosa in 2025. But with that out of the way, we might as well get to our predictions, and this is going to be a bit of an interesting one because we are actually recording the day before the stage 16, so Isaac Del Toro could maybe have lost his jersey for this, so this makes it a bit tricky. Let's hope the Mexican is still in that Maglia Rosa and we might get an in-fight battle between him and Juan Ayuso, even though Juan Ayuso has been looking a bit fragile at times and Isaac Del Toro the more energetic. However, that could catch up with him if he's burnt all his matches at this point, and we could see a 2018 Simon Yates collapse for the young Mexican. Let's cross our fingers and hope that doesn't happen. But other riders to look out for in terms of the GC, obviously Richard Carapaz, very accustomed to these kind of elevations and altitude, so he will look to really pounce on any weakness he sees in the peloton from the other GC contenders. And as well, Egan Bernal does look like he is getting a lot better than he was before, so these two Giro d'Italia champions from South America certainly will look to do something. Derek G has also been looking very good, and Roglic is probably the one going the other way. So Primož Roglic, if he's even in the Giro d'Italia by this time, certainly will be losing more time, I think, on this kind of stage. It could be a breakaway stage as well. We've seen a few breakaway wins already in this year's Giro d'Italia, and there's no reason why we couldn't see yet another one. And I would like to see Giulio Pilesari being let in the breakaway, and potentially he could get that victory that he didn't get last year, as Tadej Pogačar was cleaning up absolutely everything. So it is an opportunity for him, but it's also an opportunity for some of the other teams who haven't gotten a win, or maybe even Lidl Trek will continue their very impressive form and send Carlos Verona up there, as they don't have a GC rider anymore. We could equally see Daniel Martinez be let off the leash once more and fight for a victory if Roglic isn't feeling it, or can Tom Pidcock potentially get himself out of GC on stage 16 and be here to fight for the win here? That would be a very interesting scenario, but I don't think that's gonna happen. Do you? I'm not too sure. But anyways, with that, that's basically it for this video. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and make sure to comment down below what you think is gonna happen on the stage. Do you think even Nairo Quintana is gonna get involved? We have so many Giro d'Italia champions in this race that maybe one of them will win, but I don't really know. Primož Roglic, I am certainly worried for him, and Isaac Del Toro, let's hope he's still in the Maglia Rosa. But for now, thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.